Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to the main channel. And today we are gonna be doing our weekly news like we always do on Sundays. However, this is gonna be a little bit different because this is the Tokyo Game Show special. So while I am talking about the news for this week, since Tokyo Game Show happened, I'm gonna talk about all the cool games that they talked about that I was interested about. A lot of the stuff that happened wasn't too interested, and if you're interested on some of the other stuff, I did talk about the Atlas and Sega presentation in a separate video, a link in the description right there, so if you wanna check it out, you should definitely go ahead and check that out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the news for this week, and we're gonna talk about some of the stuff regarding Tokyo Game Show first. So, Tokyo Game Show happened, we had some presentations from the different developers and everything. Some of the stuff, for example, Persona 5 had a chunk of presentation there. In the presentation, they did new gameplay for the challenge battles. They did an entire battle. It was pretty cool. You can see some gameplay here. Again, I talked about this in detail in the other video, but it was pretty cool. They also talked about the stage, and something happened during that presentation, particularly that Marvelous took it down, because apparently Marvelous is working with Atlas on this presentation, and somehow they have parts of the copyright or something like that, but they actually copyrighted the actual video at Atlas, so that's kind of weird. I don't know what's gonna come out of that one, but figure we'll talk about it as well. I did a video separately about that as well. Nioh 2 was one of the games that they talked about. I love the first Nioh, and I don't know if you guys have been long enough in my channel, but I love the style of the Souls games a lot. That's one of my favorite franchises / RPG games, and I really liked Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. So I like the Japanese aesthetic to it and everything like that, so it's pretty cool. Nioh was one of my favorite games when it came out a few years ago, and so looking at Nioh 2 coming out, and it's actually coming out sometime next year, early 2020. That's pretty crazy, but I heard rumors about it, so I kind of knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. So looking at it, knowing that it's coming now, and looking at the trailer, pretty cool stuff. It looks really interesting, and of course it looks super cool. I just love the idea of Nioh. Following up next, we also had Final Fantasy VII new gameplay, voiceovers, a bunch of reveals, crazy stuff for Final Fantasy. I am super excited for it, and I can't betray my expectations. I am really excited for this game, as much as I've talked on this channel, because I haven't talked about it at all. I talked about it a little bit here and there whenever they have a new video and so on, but I don't follow it closely, not like Persona 5 Royal. Even though Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 1, but I don't talk about it a lot because I have kind of a grudge regarding Square Enix and Final Fantasy 15, which to me was one of the biggest disappointment that year. I was extremely upset when it came out and when I played it and everything like that, so I had a lot of high hopes for the game, so that's exactly why I'm kind of not. Sometimes I don't talk about Final Fantasy VII, but I am very excited for it. I'm definitely trying to hold my expectations on it, which you should always hold your expectations on everything, because when it comes to the gaming world, holding your expectations is the best thing. As somebody that is a fan of Shin Megami Tensei, for example, and we haven't had any news for Shin Megami Tensei, is also another disappointment, and so it's always good to keep your expectations in check so you're not too disappointed when you don't get what you want. Just the best way to do it, I guess. But we also had, speaking of expectations, we had Death Stranding as well, some new gameplay, and as I was talking about your expectations, and most people are pretty divided on this game. Does it look good? Does it look bad? It's honestly up to interpretation. What they showed of gameplay is pretty much what we've seen so far, really. Just walking around, and a little bit of battle and gameplay style and everything like that. I'm okay with what they call walking simulators. You guys know I like games like The Life is Strange and so on. So I don't really care for shoot and run kind of games a whole lot. So in my end, it still looks pretty intriguing and interesting, but is he gonna live up to expectations as a Kojima game? Because let's be honest, Kojima is legendary and he's really well known for well-crafted games. So the biggest question is this gonna live up to that? And this is kind of the thing where most people debate on: is he gonna be or not? I'm still willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not super hyped for this game, and I'll be frank with this. The gameplay that he showed was a little bit on the boring side. 50 minutes of gameplay, to be honest with you, is not usually the best way to do it. But he was pretty frank and honest about it, and I can take that for where it is. Now, with Kojima games at the same time, there's so many hidden messages and so many, other stuff that you have to dig through and play through to get this entire story and everything like that. That's pretty much with most of the Metal Gear games and everything. So I say just give him the benefit of the doubt, let him express his feelings and his thoughts through the game. Play the game and then make your decision. Don't say the game's boring, you haven't played it yet. We watched a 15-minute video of the gameplay. It's still time for it to, marinate, everything like that. I think it's still pretty cool, but again, I don't hold my expectations super high either. I'm kind of just like, it looks fine. Moving on, we also had other videos here. For example, we had Kakarot, the RPG action style Dragon Ball Z game. I'm actually super excited for this. Honestly, this is an RPG channel. I mostly talk about RPG games and that kind of stuff like that. So RPG DBZ, sign me up. I like Dragon Ball Z and I like RPGs, so this is right off my alley. Definitely super excited for this. But we had a lot of gameplay. We had pretty much live gameplay and that kind of stuff. Looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited for this, but I just want to see what it's gonna be like. I want to play it myself, maybe like a demo or something like that, so I can get my thoughts and everything. So, but I think it looks pretty solid so far. I'll be willing to play it. We also had some for One Punch Man and some other games. We had just smaller games and that kind of stuff like that. If I don't talk about a specific game, it's just I don't care for it. I just didn't see it, and honestly, that's pretty much it as far as the Tokyo Game Show. I thought this was a pretty mild Tokyo Game Show. I didn't think it was super good, to be frank. I thought it had some pretty good stuff on it and everything like that, but I didn't think it covered everything that it could have covered. And if to be honest, is because the new generation is just coming up so soon. E3 this year wasn't that either. It wasn't super good, and I really want to just talk, maybe make another video about this. But I do think that if companies have nothing to show, they just don't need to show up at all. There's just no reason to it. I think there's a waste of time for the consumer and everybody that is just putting these millions of dollars into it. Is not required and it's not interesting if there's nothing to show. That's why I think it's good that Sony just didn't show up for E3 if they had nothing. That's just the most honest way to do it. But moving into other news, because I talked about this for far too long, KFC has a game and it looks pretty weird and interesting. It's a dating sim with KFC and some new characters, anime looking style. This is weird, but it is what it is. There's a market for it. There is something that people would like to play, and that's as far as I'm gonna put it. I'm not gonna touch it further than that. But looking at the other stuff, there was a leak for an Amazon listing showing Persona 5 Royal, the theme that they're going to be doing for the PS4. Looks really cool. You can see a picture right here, and what can I say? I'm honestly gonna pre-order this, but looking at this, it's gonna make me want to pre-order with Amazon. I really like the themes. I actually purchased all the themes that they have so far, and when I'm in my PlayStation, I usually change them for another Persona theme and so on, because I really like them. I really like all of them. They are all pretty cool. But last but not least, we had some rumors / suspicion that Rocksteady is working on the next Batman game. I am a fan of the Batman Arkham Asylum games. They're not my favorite ones, but I do like what the gameplay style and everything like that. I think Spider-Man did it much better than the Batman games, but obviously Batman had many tries before they got it right, and he got it right, and it is pretty good. but looking that there's a new one, or there might be a new one. That's also a possibility. It's a rumor right now, so don't take my word for it. They're gonna make a new one, but there are really a lot of rumors and kind of stuff just talking about how there might possibly be a new one, and that is pretty cool because more games, more people to play them. That's cool. That's as far as I think about that. Anything that is new games is honestly always good news for me, I think. But that is pretty much it for this week. Most of it again covering Tokyo Game Show and that stuff. It's been a pretty packed week with games coming out left and right. We had that Demon X Machina game come out. We had Borderlands 3 come out, which looks like it has some performance issue on the PC and that kind of stuff. But that is pretty much it for today, guys. Is there anything that I didn't talk about that you guys want to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today. If you want to subscribe and like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time.